It's a big day for the Cincinnati Reds. We are back in the postseason. However, this time it's through the wild card. And in this episode, we take on the San Diego Padres. The winner moves on to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have been so consistently good. It's been the Pirates and the Angels who have essentially dominated the league from the moment we begun. As far as what we have to tend to before we get into this, the answer is nothing. We're going to get right down to business. As far as the lineup, we'll talk about that in a moment. First and foremost, let's see what we are up against. In the form of the San Diego Padres, they will more than likely be sending Miguel Montoya out. If not, it'll be Doug Sanchez. And regardless, in terms of ERA, both have been phenomenal this season. It is not going to be easy, thank God. It's a one-series game, but there's not an easy pitcher to face in that rotation. The bullpen, however, is a little bit weak, at least on paper, until you get to the end with Jason Hager. So, if we can get to that starting pitcher early, we should, ideally, be able to put up runs towards the end of the game in the latter innings. As far as the lineup is concerned, however, let's see what we have. It's not the strongest. It is rather top-heavy. Christian Pache, I believe it would be, with a .291 average, 25 home runs as a leadoff man. That is ridiculous, especially with the power ratings there. Corey Seager at an 85, ridiculous numbers as well for the now 35-year-old. Charles Palmer, absolute beast. And Nick Pratto, absolute beast. That top four is so absurdly good. It doesn't get any easier. Tristan Pompey has delivered. Randy Cesar, of course, DH isn't going to be all that much of a factor. He's actually straight out of the lineup. It is Anthony Siegler at catcher, still at 62 RBIs this year. Henry Alvarez at a 60. Andrew Tejada is where we see a little bit of alleviation, but still, despite some of the lower ratings in that lineup, this is not going to be an easy game. I don't know whether or not we're going to win, but we do need to jump right into it, because if we do, we will be simming the series against Pittsburgh in this episode. Again, it's Steve Carrasco and Miguel Montoya. They are sending Montoya out, and lineup-wise for us, it is a damn tough call. Again, Richie McCauley with that .286 average had been solid. Brian Kay has been pretty good. Jimenez with that .290 average, and Ramon Vasquez really struggled. I think the problem here, again, Glenn Huff's definitely staying in. Archie May has to stay in. I think we have the team. It's just whether or not we deliver. And right now, let's take a look, because I don't care about morale. A 365 on base. What do we have for Edwards? A 343. What do we have for Lopez? A 341. And Archie May at a 345. What's Glenn Huff at? Glenn Huff at a 365. Damn. You know, that might give us a little bit of room here. 264 average. I think we're going to go with Huff, Quinlan. Bobby, in terms of the power, hasn't been there, so we're going with Marlin. Bobby down at the 4 spot. 84, 22, 265. Let's go with Marlin, Pugh, Bobby Bloom, Archie May. It's tough, though. I don't know where we want to... I mean, obviously, Shipman's at the bottom, but we have a chance here to really stack the middle part of the lineup. It's a stacked lineup regardless. So again, 20, 86. A little bit better. It comes down to the averages. 253. Yeah, Lopez has to be ahead of him. And Archie May, 29 home runs, will be ahead there. I think that's the way to do it. Glenn Huff's going to be moved to the leadoff spot. Quinlan hits second. Pugh, Bloom, May, Lopez, Edwards, and Shipman. Defensively, it's pretty much what we would want. Lopez as a righty. Archie May as a lefty. I think we're good. And then Marlin as a third baseman. Ever since we moved him there, I actually have forgotten to change the handedness back, but that's okay. Let's do it. That is probably the best lineup that we can afford to field. We're good enough to get the job done here. It's just a matter of whether or not we end up being successful. But there's no easy teams to get past at this point. We've seen the slugfest that the division has been over the past few seasons. So it's no real surprise. It's no real surprise that we find ourselves in this situation. The question is, are we one and done against the Padres? Christian Pash, the Pash leads off. Let's see what we got. Now, there's been a lot of debate, of course, over whether or not we should go quick manage, right? Here's the thing. I never know whether to go pitch or pitch to contact and pitch around. Like, I know when's the right time to use them, I guess, but it never feels like I make the right choice. So we'll just go next at bat. It's a strikeout for Pace. Seager strikes out. Palmer walks with 2 outs. Prado strikes out. Carrasco does relatively well. Huff grounds out. Quinlan strikes out. Marlin with a line out. And it's a hitless first inning. Leadoff double for Pompey. Siegler can't do anything. Alvarez with a double of his own. Drives him in. Tejada walks. Montoya grounds out. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out for Pace. He walks. Bases loaded for Corey Seager. And he flies out. And we dodge a massive bullet. Bobby Bloom strikes out. Archie May flies out. Lopez strikes out. Not a great start. Palmer with a fly out. Prado singles with 1 out. Pompey into a double play. To the bottom of the 3rd we go already. As Edwards with the leadoff triple. That is gigantic. Shipman pops out. Carrasco grounds out. Huff strikes out. Unfucking believable. I should have gone in the quick manage, but even then I don't know if it would have worked. With the way the random RNG is, I don't know if it would have worked. Odds are even telling them, like, hey, sack fly, it might not have worked. That is horrific. And a massive chance to tie this game has gone to waste. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Carrasco. Can we get anything going here after that missed opportunity? So far the answer is no. It's a leadoff single for the pitcher Montoya. Can they get anything going in response? The pitcher just stole second. I hate this game. Palmer pops out. To the bottom of the 5th we go already. Still down with only 1 hit on the board. It was that triple, and we are just getting decimated. Decimated by their starting pitcher Montoya, as Carrasco has another strong inning. He just slipped up for that 1. And that's it for Carrasco. Richie McCauley strikes out. Huff strikes out. It'll be Napoleon Gillis on to face Alvarez. It's a ground out. Tejada strikeout. Montoya grounds out. We're in the bottom of the 7th already. We have 1 hit. Quinlan pops out. Marlin with a single. Thank God. Bobby Bloom flies out. Archie May strikes out. And unfortunately, that plan of getting to the starting pitching early and putting the pressure on the bullpen has not come to fruition. Chris Velez is on. Walks Palmer with 2 outs, and we're out of it. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Montoya is still above half energy, or roughly at it. Brian Lopez singles. Normally I'd be aggressive here, I won't be. And of course it's double play because I wasn't. Ugh. Shipman strikes out. And we are in a whole lot of trouble. Velez gives up a 2-out double, a walk, and that does result in Montoya being out, and we get out of the inning. Jason Hager is on. It'll be Jimenez pinch hitting, and this is it. I mean, we are in such a brutal situation. Broadcast is fine. What am I looking for here? Nope, do not. Do not throw a ball. Is it under? I'm looking for more presentation. How the hell? Audio video? Commentary volume. That's what I wanted. I just wanted to make sure that that was down. Here we go. Bottom of the 9th. This is it. Hager is on for Montoya. And Jimenez looks at it. This was the worst case scenario. I think I would have rather gotten blown out than waste a tremendous start and tremendous effort from our pitchers. Come on, Jimenez. We need you here. Ground ball into the dirt. It'll be a quick 0-2 count. We are in desperate need. An unreal pitching performance by Carrasco, but rivaled by an even better performance from Montoya. The 0-2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner. 1-2 count as Jimenez looks past it. Here comes the next pitch from Hager. And it's a swing and a miss from Jimenez. It feels like it happens all the time if you watch the AI play. And it happens again here. Up comes Glenn Huff, 0 for 3. We trusted him. And it has backfired. Come on. Something. Anything. First pitch. Just misses the outside corner. 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Hager. 1-0. Come on, Glenn. We need you. We need you here so desperately. Inside corner changeup. Misses. 2-0 counts. Can Glenn Huff get anything going? Desperate to have it happen. Come on, Glenn. Come on, Glenn. I believe in you. Holds off on the 2-0 count. Fastball hits the low inside corner. 2-1 count coming up. All the pressure in the world here. We have 2 hits in this game. Here's the pitch from Hager. Huff makes contact but fouls it off just behind home plate. From a 2-0 count to a 2-2. Will it be another strikeout for Hager? If it is, I'm going to be very worried. And it is. And I'm not going to watch the final pitch. There's no way. There's no way. Every time I have ever watched the gameplay, that happens. That happens. Every time. So, it will be Joe Quinlan. Swing away, Joe. He singles. We're still alive. Again, I wish I could watch this, but every time it goes horrifically, and I don't know why. It's like it's broken, essentially. Happens every goddamn time. Marlin flies out, and the Padres, in fairness, we had 3 hits. The Padres just completely shut down our offense, and the season is over. Miguel Montoya with an absolutely superb pitching performance. And overall, we just completely fall apart in the playoffs again. I'm sorry. Huff, 0 for 4. Quinlan, 1 of 4. Pugh, 1 of 4. Bobby Bloom, 0 for 3. Archie May, 0 for 3. Lopez was 1 for 3. Edwards, 1 for 3. Shipman, hitless. I don't know what's going to finally put this team over the edge. If the hitting's there, the pitching disappears. If the pitching's there, the hitting disappears. And we end up going into another postseason where you really would have hoped that this was going to be the season for us. The Phillies end up winning the whole damn thing, beating Cleveland in the World Series. So Pittsburgh swept San Diego and then lost to Philadelphia in 7. So there you go. It ended up being Seth Beer and Diego Medeiros for postseason MVPs. World Series MVP was 30-year-old Frank Taveras. So there you go. What started off as an extremely disappointing season ended relatively well as we battled back to get into a playoff spot. But unfortunately, we could not overcome the wild card, as we do not lose a single player to retirement, which is obviously a major help for us. Any Hall of Famers, Jose Ramirez calls it a day, 343 home runs. So, the bright side, staff is set and we're fine, but we do have some free agents that we're a tad bit worried about, and by we, I mean me. So here's the deal. I want to look at Lopez and Huff first, because in terms of who we have coming up through the system, right, that's the big thing for me more than anything. We can let go of Lopez knowing that Lawson is ready. Huff, I mean, here's the thing. Brian Lopez is 32. He has been in steady decline for the past few seasons. He's a legitimate 82. I have the ability to trade away anybody I want to at any given time. Of course, though, I just can't do it for anybody decent. It's just, okay, we're dumping the cap hit to somebody else. I don't know what to do for him. And then Glenn Huff had a pretty damn good season. The thought is, though, I mean, we have Bryant Kay, we have Lawson, Archie May, and Tom Lowes ready to go. I think next year the outfield is probably Lawson, May, and Lau. with Bryant K as the secondary option. If we do keep Glenn Huff, maybe Tom Lau gets one more season in AAA, but I mean, he's Major League ready right now. We didn't need him necessarily when we drafted him, but he is ready to go now. So I think we let go of Lopez and Huff. We at least qualify them. If they come back, then we'll make that decision afterwards. But hopefully, both of them end up leaving, and we get some form of compensation. It's a tough call, but I think we got to move on to a new era. I mean, again, Brian Lopez has hit steady regression, and Glenn Huff has a career year at age 29, but he is 29, and we can look forward to the future. And I mean, let's be honest, that postseason appearance was rough. Thomas Manzanillo at 31 had a strong season. Not amazing, but a strong season. In terms of the starting pitching that we have, though, I mean, number one, Clyde Martin's ready to take over for him. I mean, not to mention Joseph Dye is there, too. I think maybe we keep Manzanillo as an option, depending on how much he costs. But he's not a preferred option. I think he's been... I mean, number one, he's 31 years old. He's getting to be too old. I mean, the future of this rotation, Trevino, Dye, Martin, and Carrasco, they're the guys who are going to be leading us if we end up winning. So I think for Manzanillo as well, he's only looking for 6.2. I think we qualify him, and we see what happens. Henry Shipman is still probably our best option at catcher. It's he and Rincon, but Rincon is so weak at the plate, as is Martin Abreu, who isn't quite ready. Again, we gave Abreu a chance to shine previously, and it just didn't happen. And really, in fairness, we don't have another project at catcher. So Shipman will stay, for now, out of pure necessity. He's looking for 6.6. And the question is, all right, so it's up to 10 years until it hits diminishing returns. And then we give him a player option. And from here, we try to save a little bit of money. It literally doesn't matter what we sign him to, since I have the ability to trade him away. $60 million over 10 years. And then Bruce Boyle had a ridiculous season. He's still pissed that he's not the closer, right? But there's no doubt the bullpen's strong. If we lose him, it's better with him. So I think right now that's a part of the plan too, is we try to keep Bruce Boyle. We hit diminishing returns at 10 years yet again. He is also not going to be the closer. I'm not going to promise him that either. We'll go $70 million over 10 years and see if that's good enough. We'll negotiate these deals with Shipman. But I think that's the right way to handle it. There's really no controversy in that. I completely missed what just happened. Because I was hitting B to back out. What just happened? Who exercised their option? Shit. I don't know what just happened. And there's no way to look at transactions or anything. I have no idea what just happened. Okay. On the bright side, Shipman signed. We have 4 more days. Wow. I'm honestly terrified right now. I have no idea what just happened as far as who backed out. Okay. Well, again, that's something that we didn't have to worry about previously. Alright. What can we do to get max interest from you? Let's go $8 million a year. You're worth it. Let's do it. See if he accepts it. We'll back out of that. Boyle still hasn't signed, so obviously we'll qualify him for now. And we'll see what happens. I have no idea who the hell just opted out. Shit, and there's still not a transaction screen, is there? All transactions, Jesus Christ. Okay, what happened? Lincoln Post exercised. Okay, thank God it was just Lincoln Post. Whoo, boy. All right, so Lincoln is on the team, which is fine. I don't give a shit. Whew. That was concerning. That was concerning. So, let's clear out the roster as we always do. I think I'm going to keep this live for the sake of people thinking, hey, maybe when you look at the video length, maybe, oh, hey, maybe they won. and they end up playing the Pirates. I hate to disappoint you. That is not what happened. So, for the moment, we need to go ahead and skip out here. So we have Bloom, Pugh, McCauley, and Eddie Welsh. It's the only other guy that actually belongs to us. The good thing is we have so many players on roster now that I actually don't have to sign that many people. Edwards, Jimenez, Cabrera, Elam, and Esparza. So Solis and Gaskins will be on the way out. We have Vasquez and Henry Lewis here. Henry Lewis as well is basically major league ready, and maybe we have to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of getting rid of people and calling guys up when they're close to being ready. Quinlan, Chavez, and Cardenas are the only shortstops on roster that actually belong to us. So we'll get rid of everybody else. In left, so again, Lawson right now looking like the guy. Clausen, Calzado, Miles, McGee is not ours, nor is Chet Hines, but Carmen Avila is. And then Kay and Booth. Of course, Glenn Huff right now is a free agent. Archie May, Tom Lau, Fernandez, and Leary. So that's good. Pitching-wise, is there anybody here who is not ours? Obviously, all these guys are. Cervantes is. Padilla, Woodall. Drew Taveras is also ours. Montgomery, Guillermo Cairo. So that's good. In terms of relievers, we have Johnson, Velasquez, Taveras, Shearer, Silva, Ben Miles, I believe. Yeah, is the only one who does not belong to us. And then starting pitchers, I think every single person belongs to us. Diaz, Benedict Prescott, Tommy Alonso. I believe every single one of those players belong to us. So, Zarate is the main guy that we have to worry about by far. So, let's see. Oh yeah, we don't want to lose him. Can I add him out right to the 40-man? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Of course, we have some spots available. Harmon Malgrat, how good is he? See potential. I'm not afraid of losing him. That's fine. Oh shit, that's right. You can see the C potential right there. Sorry. I blanked, man. I blanked, but that's okay. So I think we'll risk letting go of everybody else because I'm not really afraid of potentially missing out on anybody else. I don't think there's anybody here. I mean, Eddie Welsh, if we were to lose him. Elam and Esparza, that's not a big deal. Henry Lewis isn't eligible. So, yeah, we're good. We are fine. Sweet. So Carrasco, Vasquez, and Kay all have the arbitration eligible, which is fine. And, of course, we got to sign everybody else. So in terms of free agents, we still have the offer out for Boyle. You get a look at some of the top free agents available. So let's do this. We know that we're signing Steve Carrasco. Offer arbitration. Do I just want to outright sign him? I mean, granted, service time available, arbitration. So what the hell would I even offer him? 8.2? Again, I'd prefer to just outright sign somebody. As far as, you know, like, oh, how I want to handle the arbitration years. Like, I don't even want to negotiate. It's just like, fuck it, let's get this deal done. So again, let's go 3 years. We will give him the player option as well. Because if we take that away, yeah, it drops down a little bit. So let's go player option. 25.4, so 8.5 million a year for the ace. It's not too bad. Ramon Vasquez will hopefully be coming back as well. Let's go 3 years. He wants to be a star player. We'll see if that works. I think yet again we are looking at potential lineup changes and the opportunity to make major changes heading into the new year. And Bryant K as well wants to be an everyday player. That's not going to happen, but that's okay. Let's see how much money we can save here for one Bryant K. The answer is a whole hell of a not big amount, for lack of a better term. So, Joseph Dye, who was our Rule 5 pickup last year. Let's go ahead then again. I kind of need to offer them player options. I kind of need to, just for the sake of trying to save money where I can with that extra bit of value. So I'm pretty much going to offer everybody pretty much going to offer everybody a player option if I need to. Now, obviously, for Joseph Dye, we don't have to do that. His interest is already skyrocketed, so I'll pay him what he's looking for. Russell Zarate, who we have kept. Let's go ahead and bump him up to about $600K, just in case he plays in the majors this year. Martin Abreu, we're going to go 1 year, hopefully down to that $950 to keep him. Looks like that'll be possible. He wants to be an everyday player. Pedro Rodriguez, decent chance of him making the major league next year, probably not this year. Richie McCauley was, of course, on the bench, and we'll assign him to exactly that. Henry Lewis has a very good chance of being a major league player for us this year. Eric Valencia, probably not quite major league ready, but sooner rather than later. Fernandez, Richie Burnett, let's go 3 years. Starting pitcher, I mean, he's getting up there in age, though. We'll see if he accepts that. Andreas Tavares, who has just been a depth guy for us at this point, and will continue to be. 10 years is the point of diminishing return. Just to get him signed, it's a nothing player that I have to sign every year anyway, so we might as well bring him in. Pena, Scott Clausen, we have Abdul Elam, Daniel Stapleton, Robbie Esparza, Alex Shearer, sign him up. Harmon Malgrat, if we don't lose him in the Rule 5, Drew Tavares, and Augustine Silva as well is the same way. Someone who we've had forever, who will just continue to be a role player for us, just, you know, minor league filler, so we don't have to keep signing free agents. So we'll try to bring back basically everybody there. And the main thing here, we'll be seeing what happens. Dave Miles isn't interested. Yeah, I'm going to get a bunch of those, but that's fine. Michael Bump to the White Sox. Doug Dutton. Great name. Great name. No major signings yet, though. Vasquez and Bryant Kay still haven't signed. We have time, though. Wander, Samuel Franco, Theodore Song, Jake Cortez, all signed. So Kay has signed the deal. Again, we have until November 23rd to where we need to be really concerned. Luis Garcia, Gustavo Gonzalez, Christian Arroyo. Now's about the time when we need to see our guys signing. Thomas Manzanillo is back, and that is going to cause some budget issues. Although you notice now the money back in the bank, we're looking okay. Kyler Murray, Rivas. The Astros are offering a trade. We can't do it. Nick Senzel, Anderson Espinoza. I'm really concerned, though. The good thing is all of our arbitration-eligible players are gone. Again, whether or not I should just offer them arbitration or just get the deals done. I know some people have said go through arbitration. I don't know. I just kind of find it easier to get the deal done, you know? I just find it to be a little bit easier just to get the deal done. To be honest, it's simpler, straight to the point. Oh, boy. Unless, I know some people have been like, nope, seriously, stop it. Just do what you gotta do. So Manzanillo has to go, because money-wise, we're screwed. So, we tried to bring him back on a deal, tried to get something for him. He had a good season. Obviously, he's going to be gone. Is there a team that could use someone of his caliber? The Rays, for sure, could. Is there a terrible player? Enrique Nunez, not under a contract. Is there a terrible player who is? There we go. Johan Fuentes. Congratulations, Tampa. There you go. Thomas Manzanillo, after a decent season, is unfortunately gone. It had to be done. It had to be done. So we'll see what happens with the others. Dave Miles is being, he's playing hard to get. That's okay, though. Bump up that pay, and then Rodriguez as well. I mean, he's looking for $90K as an ideal salary. I mean, come on, dog. Let's go. Let's make this easier for everybody. Pedro still causing issues here. Oh my God, would you sign already? I don't have to be worried about you until December 2nd, but still, would you please? Thank God he signed. So we still have some of our other big players on the free agent list as I stumble and stammer through my words. That is okay. We'll see what happens with them. There's been no word about them signing. J.D. Davis to the Red Sox, Carlos Correa, Billy McKinney, A.J. Puck. And I guess the question is, what the hell does our roster look like at this point? So is Brian Lopez still there? Brian Lopez come back without it telling me? So Brian Lopez signed, it just wasn't a big enough deal for it to be major news, huh? Is that what happened? Might be. Deselect that. Nope, it's not what I want. Let's go back to this. I was here. It's Lopez with an S, I do believe. So Brian Lopez is gone. He has signed with the Texas Rangers. It just wasn't big enough news for it to be talked about. So at 32 years old and on the decline, he gets an $8.7 million offer. It had to be done. Now is the right time to move on. And as far as Glenn Huff is concerned, he has signed with the Mets. Again, hate to see him go in particular, and that might be the one where you could consider it a mistake. But again, between Lawson, May, and Lau, I think those are the three we have to focus on. Just plain fact. So, hate to see Glenn Huff leave the squad as well, but I do think it was a necessary evil. Aside from that, it was Bruce Boyle. And I believe he is gone too. Is he not? Or did he sign? I don't remember. And yeah, Bruce Boyle's still here. So we're good. We're good. Had to move on from a couple of players, but that was to be expected. As you get a deal, Willie Medeiros to the White Sox. And I want to get to the Rule 5. Let's do it. Let's see who we get, if anybody. Again, same thing it's always been. One position player and one pitcher. Let's see. Eric Duranko is very interesting. So pitching-wise, again, right now, we don't need a starter at all. And the only way we bring on a starting pitcher and keep them is if we use them as the long reliever for the season like we did with Joseph Dye, and then we'll have the ability to send them down. The problem is, there is somebody, that being Jason Lord, who is absolutely worth taking. At least in terms of potential. Then there's Tom Chang. I mean, the walks and the home runs per 9 looking good. More control as well, but he's a year older. I'd probably go for Jason Lord just to see if it were to work out. Scotty Robinson, also okay, but probably not a long-term option. So 70, 50, 60, 60, 50, 50, 70, 70. Who else do we have? Bartolo Molina, absolutely not. So if we take a starter, it's Lord, no doubt about it. I believe that was his name. And Theo Miller's there. I also don't think I trust him. In terms of relievers, is there anybody? There's Aaron Singer, who I mean, the hit's nice, but man, no velocity. The break's not even nasty. So if we take a pitcher, it is going to be Jason Lord. In terms of a position player, you do have Tino Salinas, but I don't really trust that. No catchers available. First baseman, you have Serrano with ridiculous power. Shout out to Major League. And William Bong. Tremendous name. Great contact. Serrano would be very interesting. Switch hitter as well. Could be a good option off the bench. Anybody else? Walter Hara. I mean, 24 and a B. My God, he cannot hit. He cannot hit whatsoever. Third baseman, you get Eric Duranko, who is probably the most interesting one with him being an A potential, especially after Marlon Pugh was able to actually make something of himself. So it's between Serrano, who has crazy good power and would be better suited on the bench for this year, or Duranko, who I doubt is ever going to have strong hitting abilities. And again, he'd have to be on the bench for the entire season. So that's why it might not be worth necessarily taking the best prospect in the deal. But the problem is our starting roles are completely filled. Orlando Sierra could work. Decent speed, decent contact. Everything else leaves a little bit to be desired. But we are going to have space for an extra outfielder. I think it's pretty well decided. At the very least, I'm more confident about Jason Lord as our pitcher. So we do lose Thomas Manzanillo, but we add Jason Lord through the Rule 5, so that's not a bad bit of business. And we should have space on the 40-man to pick up somebody. William Bong is gone. So it comes down to Antonio Serrano or Eric Geronko. And it's the power game of Serrano that's very tempting. But will Eric Geronko see some late development? The problem is the bat's just not there. Who the hell is he ever going to beat? Whereas Serrano, throughout his career with this team, could consistently be good as a, bench player, pinch hitting specialist. I think I'm gonna go with Antonio Serrano, which could mean that Richie McCauley ends up being in AAA for the year, but still, actually that would affect McCauley. If we go for Geronko, it'd probably be Cabrera or Jimenez, maybe. Yeah, it'd be Cabrera or Jimenez that would be affected. I'm going to go with Serrano. And to be honest, there's no guarantees that we even keep him. But there we go. Those are the two pickups for the Rule 5 this year. And let's go ahead and get to the start of spring training. I want to see what this roster's looking like and whether or not anything else happens this year. Tyler Beatty to the Astros. White Sox are making moves. Left and right, the White Sox are making moves. So to renewable contracts we go. Serrano is there. And we'll just go ahead and handle that. And from there to spring training we go. So let's stay alive with this one still, I think. So in terms of catchers, it has to be Abreu or Rincon on the bench. Abreu is a more well-rounded hitter. He is a switch hitter as well, as is Rincon, actually. Rincon's a little bit better defensively. I think I'd rather go for Abreu in AAA so that he's playing full-time. If we're going to have anybody wasting away... if we're going to have anybody wasting away on the bench, it should be Josh Rincon and not Martin Abreu. So we have that going for us at least. Obviously, we're going to have to sign a couple of catchers, but Henry Shipman is going to be the guy. At first, again, it's a little bit of a mess in terms of what the hell's going on with that squad, right? So we'll see what that looks like. Edwards, Cabrera, Jimenez, Abdul Elam, and Robbie Esparza. We'll have to figure out that situation. Henry Lewis looks to be Major League ready, kind of. The problem is he's Major League ready and with A potential. We don't exactly want to butcher his potential. If he's Major League ready now, we might want to find a way to make that happen. Fernando Chavez, however, the 22-year-old, will very clearly be back in AAA this season. It'll be Cabrera and Jimenez or at least one of the two, as an infield depth option. And then outfield-wise, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be Lawson, Bryant K, Archie May, and maybe Tom Lau's not ready for prime time. Wants to be in the platoon role. So that's the big thing that we have to decide. And I'm going to leave that decision up to you guys. Henry Lewis, Major League ready, yes or no? If we give him one more season down in AAA, that's fairly straightforward. And we have Cabrera and Jimenez there as bench players. And same thing for Tom Lau. Do we want to start playing him full time? Of course, he'd be a much better DH with those fielding stats, but there's nothing we can do in that regard. So let me know. Because if Tom Lau gets sent back to AAA, it'll be Archie May, Bryant K, probably Stephen Booth, and Nick Lawson. Booth's not going to be that much better, and it'd be nice to have him as a pinch runner. So the outfield's fairly well set. It's just whether or not Tom Lau is the guy. And if he is, I don't know if it's the best idea to have Bryant K be the one sit, and I wouldn't want Lawson to sit either. So maybe it would be for the best to have Lau, but he's good, right? And we don't want to stunt that development. So a little bit of a tricky outfield situation there. Ryan Fernandez, that's fairly straightforward. He's going down to AAA no matter what. And aside from that, we're looking good. There might be some things we have to figure out. Fuentes, of course, is not ours, so he could just be down as a depth option. Of course, we'll have to continue to figure that out. Pitching-wise, we have 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Zarate. Bruce Boyle still here, though. So, it's a bit of a tough call. Because for starting pitchers, that's the top 5. And we could make the choice of having Domingo Trevino be the long reliever. The problem with Clyde Martin is the stamina is just not there, but he's extremely well-rounded. So would playing Clyde Martin as the long reliever be the worst idea in the world? That's the question, because he could be a lights-out long reliever for us. He's actually perfect for it, but with that A potential, it's a little bit rough. Obviously, someone like Rey Nielsen won't be there. And then there's the Jason Lord problem, where we could let him go if needed. But someone like Rey Nielsen will be down in the minors. Richie Burnett will obviously be down in the minors this year. Luis Cedeno, I do not want to release. I want to drop him to AAA. And he'll have to go through waivers, which is fine. There's no way he won't clear. So again, starting pitching-wise, we can have 5 or we can have 6 as the long reliever. And it's just a big decision over really who we decide on. I mean, Carrasco's safe, obviously, but between Medina, Bailey, Trevino, Dye, Martin, and Lord, what do? We could potentially let go of Lord. And what about Clyde Martin? Should he be a starter, or would that stunt his development? And as far as what happens relief-wise, it's pretty much based upon what happens. I mean, obviously, someone like Cervantes isn't going to be there, but, and actually, in fairness, neither is Chad Padilla. But again, we can have 6 to 7, depending on who we want the long reliever to be, whether that is a starter or an actual bullpen option. But I mean, Norman Garner, he struggled this year, but still he stays. So between Vincent, Garner, Gillis, Post, Velez, Zarate, that would be 6. And I mean, Johnson as well is an option, as is Boyle. So you kind of see the struggle here, right? Yeah, and we have 6 to 7 spots tops with 8 talent, 8 individual talents available. And then starting pitching-wise, what do we look to do? So on the bright side, this team is extremely strong. Obviously, we don't quite know what the ranking's going to be. Right now, it's showing up as first. And in terms of top prospects, I mean, we're stacked. Rosas, Lau, Clyde Martin, Henry Lewis. And obviously, this list will change once we decide exactly what we want to do. Eric Valencia is also there. We're looking very good. And Russell Zarate bringing up the rear. We're looking very, very good. It's just a matter of who plays. Who plays and how much of the future do we want to potentially wager in this decision-making, as barely Gary Buckley survives. International, let's see, who are we going to go for? That's actually about even. So better efficiency, weaker discovery, pitchers about equal out, and he's better with position players. I think we're going to go with Fernando Minor over Alberto Matthews as our international scout. And from the Central, Costa is certainly not better than Yamazaki. So there we go. We are good. It's just now a matter of who plays where. I have to sim forward a few days for that waiver option to clear. So guys, that will do it for this one. Disappointing to see us lose to the Padres the way we did, but we're ready to bounce back next season, and hopefully things go our way. And for the record, somebody wanted to see a first baseman on the Twins, and I couldn't look at him at the beginning of the episode, and I think it was Burgess, who was terrible. So there you go. Guys, that'll do it for this one. Thank you very much for watching and supporting this series. It is greatly appreciated. You know the deal. Support the video and channel in any way you deem necessary. Check out everything in the description if you haven't, and if you have, do it again. I will see you next time. Until then, have a good one.